Have you ever had someone stop mid-sentence, squint at you and say, "Wait, how old are you? No way." Maybe they think you're a decade younger. Maybe they assume you have some kind of secret elixir. And sure, it feels good until they start demanding your skincare routine like it's a classified government document. But what if I told you that looking younger than your age isn't just about lucky genetics or fancy moisturizers? What if your youthful glow is actually a reflection of something deeper, something rooted in your mindset, your choices, and even your philosophy on life? Because here's the truth. People who defy time share certain psychological traits, habits, and perspectives that keep them ageless in spirit and unstoppable in energy. And today, we're uncovering them all. So, if you've ever been mistaken for someone younger, or if you want to be, pay close attention. This might just explain why you're secretly defying the calendar. And before we start, hit that like button and subscribe, because wisdom, like youth, is best when shared. Let's dive in. 1. You have an unbreakable spirit. Have you ever met someone who has been through absolute hell, heartbreak, financial disasters, personal losses, yet somehow they look untouched by it all? Life knocks them down, takes their lunch money, and still they walk around looking like they just got back from a spa retreat. Meanwhile, others barely scrape through a tough week and suddenly look 5 years older. What's the difference? It's not just genetics. It's not just skincare. It's resilience. Your mind controls your body more than you think. Stress, anxiety, and emotional burdens don't just exist in your thoughts. They carve themselves into your skin, your posture, and even the way you carry yourself. People who seem to defy aging aren't just lucky. They've mastered the art of not letting life ruin them. They don't allow stress to consume them. They don't dwell on their failures. And they certainly don't let every bad experience leave a permanent mark. Because here's the truth. Stress is a silent killer. And it's not just stealing your peace, it's stealing your youth. I once knew a guy named Rick. Rick was one of those people who aged in fast forward. At 45, he looked 60. Deep wrinkles, permanent frown lines, and a hunched-over posture like he was carrying the weight of the world. Every conversation with Rick was a therapy session. His boss was awful. The economy was out to get him. His ex-wife had ruined his life, and nothing ever seemed fair. He held on to every slight, every misfortune, every regret like they were trophies. You could see the resentment on his face. And science backs this up. When you live in a constant state of stress and negativity, your body produces high levels of cortisol, the stress hormone responsible for wrinkles, dull skin, and even chronic exhaustion. It doesn't just make you look older, it makes you feel older too. But then there are people like Lisa. Lisa lost her husband unexpectedly in her early 50s. She had every reason to shut down, to let grief take over, to age overnight from the sheer weight of loss. And yet, if you met her today, you'd never guess she's been through anything tragic. Her skin glows, her energy is contagious, her laugh is loud and unapologetic. When I asked her once how she managed to move forward, she just smiled and said, "What's the alternative?" That's the difference. Lisa understands something most people don't. Suffering is inevitable, but letting it consume you is a choice. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled during plagues, wars, and betrayals, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Life is going to punch you in the gut. You can either sit there complaining about how unfair it is, or you can stand up, wipe the dust off, and keep moving." Here's what's wild. Science actually backs up Stoic philosophy. Studies show that people who practice emotional resilience and mindfulness physically age slower. Their cells regenerate better, their skin remains healthier, their bodies don't break down as quickly under stress. It turns out that choosing not to carry the world on your shoulders might just be the best anti-aging trick out there. So if you've ever been told you look younger than your age, ask yourself, am I someone who lets stress run my life? Do I hold on to every failure, every grudge, every disappointment? Or do I laugh in the face of adversity, knowing that nothing is ever permanent? Because the secret to looking young isn't in a bottle. It's in the way you handle life. If you haven't mastered this yet, don't worry. You can start today. Let go of what you cannot control. Find strength in your struggles. Refuse to be defeated. Because while life will try to wear you down, only you get to decide whether it leaves a mark on your soul or your face. 2. You embrace change instead of fearing it. You've seen them before, the ones who seem untouched by time, who move through life with a lightness, an energy that defies their age. They laugh easily, embrace new experiences, and exude a curiosity that makes you wonder, what's their secret? It's not luck, it's not perfect genetics, it's something far more powerful, their mindset. They don't fear change, they become it. And then there are others, people who, despite being in their 30s or 40s, seem weighed down by life itself. Their movements are sluggish, their conversations filled with complaints, their energy heavy. They've convinced themselves that their best days are behind them, that the world is changing too much or too fast. And instead of adapting, they resist. But resistance is exhausting. It drains you, mentally, emotionally, and yes, even physically. The ancient Stoics understood this better than anyone. Life is an ever-moving current, and those who fight against it end up battered and stuck. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." In other words, the only constant in life is change. The question is, will you embrace it, or will you let it harden you? Take Paul, a man I once knew. In his youth, he was adventurous, always seeking out new experiences, eager to learn. But as the years went by, something shifted. When technology transformed his industry, he refused to adapt, convinced the old ways were better. When his kids introduced him to new music, he dismissed it, saying, "They don't make real music anymore." Little by little, his world became smaller. His career stalled, his relationship strained, and his frustration grew. But instead of looking inward, he blamed the world around him, convinced that it had changed for the worse, not realizing that he had simply stopped growing. The Stoics would say Paul's suffering wasn't caused by change itself, but by his resistance to it. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Life isn't meant to be clung to, it's meant to be lived. And those who stay truly young, no matter their age, are the ones who understand this. Now, contrast Paul with someone like Evelyn, a woman in her 70s who radiates vitality. She recently started painting for the first time, learned how to use social media to keep up with her grandchildren, and even went on her first solo trip abroad last year. Not because she's fearless, but because she refuses to let fear make her world small. She doesn't see change as something to dread. She sees it as life's invitation to keep evolving. And that energy? It's contagious. There's a reason why some people look older than they are while others seem to defy time. It's not just about skincare or diet. It's about the weight they carry or don't. People who cling to the past, who resist growth, who refuse to let go of outdated beliefs. You can see it in their posture, their expressions, the way they move. But those who flow with life, who adapt and evolve, They carry a lightness that no anti-aging cream can replicate. So if you ever find yourself feeling stuck, ask yourself, where am I resisting change? What am I clinging to that no longer serves me? Because the moment you tell yourself you're too old to try something new, to learn, to grow, that's the moment you truly start aging. The people you admire, the ones who move through life with boundless energy, they're not special. They've simply chosen a different way of being. And the best part? You can choose it too. 3. Your mind is always curious. Some people in their 50s or 60s move through life with an energy and enthusiasm that feels almost ageless. Their presence is magnetic, their conversations are engaging, and their curiosity about the world never fades. Unlike those who seem weighed down by routine and years of repetition, these individuals remain vibrant, not just in appearance, but in spirit. Meanwhile, others, sometimes even younger, seem exhausted by life, going through the motions, trapped in routine, as if they've already lived it all. What's the difference? Genetics? Expensive skincare? Luck? True youth isn't about the number of candles on your birthday cake, it's about the state of your mind. And the moment you stop being curious, stop asking questions, and stop seeking new experiences, you begin aging in a way no anti-wrinkle serum can reverse. People who remain mentally engaged, who never stop learning, exploring, or questioning, carry a different energy. Their minds stay sharp, their bodies stay agile, and most importantly, their spirit never dulls. But here's another piece of the puzzle: your attitude toward change. People who look and feel younger aren't just curious, they're also adaptable. They don't cling desperately to the past, resisting everything new like a stubborn old machine. They embrace change, learning to navigate it with enthusiasm rather than fear. Think about it. Who ages faster? The person who complains about how things used to be, or the one who welcomes new ideas, technologies, and ways of thinking? Adaptability isn't just about keeping up with trends. It's about staying mentally flexible, which translates directly into how we carry ourselves physically and emotionally. Science backs this up. Studies show that people who continue to challenge their brains, learning a new skill, engaging in creative work, or even just exposing themselves to new perspectives, actually slow down cognitive decline. Their brains form new neural connections, keeping them sharp and preventing the mental stagnation that often leads to premature aging. The Stoics understood this long before modern research confirmed it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest minds of philosophy, once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Meaning, the moment you resist learning, resist change, resist the unknown, you start declining. But if you embrace it, lean into the new, the uncomfortable, the unfamiliar, you not only stay young, but you continue to grow. So, if people tell you that you look younger than your age, take a moment to think, am I someone who welcomes the unknown, who stays curious, who embraces the new instead of fearing it? Because the truth is, youth isn't about avoiding wrinkles, it's about avoiding stagnation. Keep your mind open, your curiosity alive, and your adaptability sharp, and time will never truly catch up with you. If you found these insights valuable, let me know by commenting "yes" below. Your thoughts matter, and I'd love to hear from you. 4. You express your emotions freely. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to carry the weight of the world on their faces? Their eyes look tired, their expressions hardened, and their presence feels heavy, as if life itself has worn them down. And then there are others, people who seem almost untouched by time. Their faces are open, their eyes bright, their movements light. What's the difference? It's not just genetics or skincare routines. It's something deeper. It's how they process and express their emotions. Have you ever met someone who refuses to show emotion? No matter what happens, they keep a straight face. They bottle up their sadness, swallow their anger, and even stifle their joy, as if showing too much feeling is a sign of weakness. At first, it might seem like strength, this ability to stay composed, to never let emotions get the best of them. But over time, something changes. The tension that builds inside starts to seep into their body. Their shoulders become tight, their posture stiff. Their face starts to carry the weight of every suppressed emotion. You can see it in the deep lines on their forehead, the permanent set of their jaw, the heaviness in their gaze. This isn't just an aesthetic issue, it's a sign of an internal war being fought and lost. Let me tell you about someone I used to know, Richard. Richard was the kind of guy who believed emotions were meant to be controlled, not expressed. He prided himself on being logical, someone who never let feelings interfere with decision-making. If he was stressed, he powered through it. If he was hurt, he brushed it off. If he was happy, he kept it modest. No loud laughter, no excessive displays of excitement. Over time, Richard became what some might call a serious man, and his face reflected it. By his early 50s, he looked a decade older. His once bright eyes had dimmed, his skin lost its vibrancy, and his overall energy felt heavy. You could sense the emotional burden he carried, even if he never spoke about it. Contrast that with someone like Linda, a woman in her 60s who always seemed younger than her years. Linda wasn't immune to stress or sadness, but she had a very different approach to emotions. When something upset her, she talked about it. When she was happy, she let herself feel it fully, laughing without holding back. If she needed to cry, she didn't resist. She understood something Richard didn't. Emotions are meant to move through us, not get trapped inside. She had wrinkles, sure, laugh lines that deepened when she smiled, a softness around her eyes that showed years of expression, but she didn't look worn down by life. She looked alive. This isn't just philosophical, it's biological. Science backs this up. When you suppress emotions, your body goes into stress mode. Cortisol, the stress hormone, increases, leading to inflammation, weakened immune function, and yes, faster aging. Studies have shown that people who chronically hold in their emotions experience higher levels of stress, which accelerates the breakdown of collagen in the skin, leading to premature wrinkles and a dull complexion. More than that, suppressed emotions don't just stay quiet, they fester. Over time, they can contribute to anxiety, depression, and even physical illnesses like heart disease. Stoic philosophy, which often gets misunderstood as endorsing emotional suppression, actually teaches the opposite. The Stoics didn't believe in ignoring emotions, they believed in understanding and processing them. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That doesn't mean denying what you feel. It means acknowledging emotions for what they are, learning from them, and then letting them go. Imagine emotions like waves. If you try to stop a wave from crashing, you'll only exhaust yourself. But if you let it rise and fall naturally, it passes, leaving you standing strong. So, how does this apply to you? If you've ever caught yourself holding in frustration, swallowing sadness, or even dimming your own joy, consider the long-term effects. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? That people will judge you for expressing how you feel? That showing emotions makes you vulnerable? The truth is, vulnerability isn't weakness, it's freedom. It's what allows you to experience life fully rather than simply endure it. If you want to stay youthful, not just in appearance but in spirit. Start by allowing yourself to feel. Laugh loudly when something is funny. Cry when something hurts. Speak your truth instead of burying it. This isn't about being emotionally reckless, it's about being emotionally honest. The most vibrant, magnetic people aren't those who have avoided pain. They're the ones who have let emotions flow through them rather than harden them. Look around at the people in your life. Who carries lightness and who carries weight? Who looks younger than their years and who looks exhausted by life? And more importantly, which one do you want to be? Aging isn't just about years, it's about how we live those years. And if you want to stay young, the answer isn't in a bottle of expensive face cream or a strict fitness routine. It's in the way you allow yourself to feel, to express, to release. Because at the end of the day, the face doesn't lie, it reflects the soul. And those who let life flow through them rather than resist it are the ones who stay truly youthful. 5. You surround yourself with positive energy. Some people walk into a room and instantly make it feel lighter, as if their presence itself carries a certain glow. Others, however, seem to pull the energy out of the air, leaving you drained after just a few minutes with them. It's not your imagination. Energy is contagious, whether positive or negative. And if you constantly expose yourself to negativity, it doesn't just weigh on your mind, it seeps into your body, affecting your posture, your facial expressions, even your health. Over time, it speeds up the aging process in ways you might not even realize. The truth is, the people around you have a direct impact on your youthfulness. Being in an environment filled with chronic complainers, pessimists, and those who thrive on criticism physically takes a toll. Stress levels rise, your body tenses, and before long, you start carrying that weight in your expression. You see it in people who seem older than they really are, tired eyes, deep-set frown lines, an overall heaviness that lingers in the way they move and speak. Their energy is worn, as if they've absorbed too much negativity, and it has settled into their very being. But then there are those who, no matter their age, appear effortlessly youthful. They radiate an energy that makes them seem lighter, as if life hasn't managed to weigh them down. What's their secret? It's not just skincare or good genes. They are careful about their environment. They choose to spend time with people who uplift, inspire, and bring laughter rather than complaints. They instinctively know that negative energy is like slow poison, and they refuse to let it infiltrate their minds and bodies. Science backs this up. Studies show that positive social interactions reduce stress hormones, lower inflammation, and even slow down the aging process at a cellular level. Laughter, genuine connection, and uplifting conversations don't just make you feel better, they actively keep you younger. This is why some people seem to glow despite their years. Their bodies respond not just to how they treat themselves, but to the energy they allow into their world. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control everything that happens around us, but we can control what we choose to engage with. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In other words, what you allow into your mind, who you surround yourself with, what conversations you choose to participate in, these things shape not just your mental well-being, but your physical health as well. If you consistently absorb negativity, you will carry it. If you engage with toxic people, their energy will become your own. But if you choose carefully, if you prioritize relationships that nourish rather than drain, you are giving yourself the gift of longevity, not just in years, but in the quality of those years. Take a moment to reflect. The people in your life, Are they adding to your energy or taking from it? Are they bringing you growth, inspiration, and lightness? Or do they leave you feeling depleted? If you've ever been told you look younger than your age, it may not just be luck. It could be a sign that you have surrounded yourself with the kind of energy that keeps you truly alive. And if you haven't, the good news is that you have the power to change it. Because at the end of the day, youth isn't just about how you look, it's about how you feel. And that feeling is shaped by the people you allow into your world. If you found these insights valuable, let me know by commenting yes below. Your thoughts matter, and I'd love to hear from you. 6. You live with passion and purpose. Some people walk through life as if they're carrying an invisible weight on their shoulders. Their faces are blank, their movements sluggish, their energy drained. It's not just exhaustion. It's as if they've lost their why, the very thing that makes life feel worth living. They're not really alive. They're just existing, counting down the days rather than making them count. And you can see it, the dullness in their eyes, the heaviness in their posture, the absence of excitement in their voice. It's not about age, it's about stagnation. When life feels like an endless loop of responsibilities, obligations and routines, with nothing to look forward to, it shows. The body doesn't just respond to physical inactivity. It reacts to emotional inactivity too. Now, think about someone who radiates life. The kind of person who, when they speak, makes you lean in because their passion is so contagious. Their eyes sparkle when they talk about their dreams. Their energy is electric, and their presence is felt. They don't just go through the motions, they create moments. Every day holds something to look forward to, a project they're building, a skill they're mastering, a trip they're planning, a goal they're chasing. Their enthusiasm isn't just in their words, it's in the way they move, the way they carry themselves, the way they exist with purpose. And that purpose fuels them, keeping them not only mentally alive, but physically vibrant as well. The difference? Passion. A reason to wake up every morning with excitement instead of dread. Purpose isn't some grand philosophical concept reserved for the gifted or the lucky. It's simply the thing that pulls you forward, that makes life yours, instead of just something you endure. When you're connected to something that excites you, something that makes you feel like you're contributing, your entire being reflects it. Your energy shifts, your face carries lightness, your body moves with intention. You stop looking tired and start looking alive. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. They believed that a life without purpose was a slow kind of death. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." There's a reason why people who lack direction often feel sluggish, uninspired, and worn down. Because without purpose, life feels heavy. When there's nothing pulling you forward, everything feels harder. Even small tasks become exhausting because there's no bigger picture, no fire behind your actions. It's easy to fall into this trap. Routines take over, responsibilities pile up, and somewhere along the way, you stop asking yourself, what excites me? What am I building? What do I look forward to? Instead, you just keep moving, not realizing that you've shifted into autopilot. And here's the real danger. The longer you stay disconnected from passion, the harder it becomes to reignite it. You start telling yourself that this is just how life is. That excitement is for the young, for the dreamers, for the people who have time for it. But that's a lie. If you've ever been told that you look younger than your age, take a moment to think about why. Maybe it's not just luck. Maybe it's because you have something that fuels you. Maybe it's because you haven't let life drain you. But if you've lost that fire, if you feel like you're just going through the motions, the good news is, it's not too late. Passion isn't something you find, it's something you build. It doesn't have to be a career or a world-changing mission. It can be something small, a hobby, a project, a goal you've been putting off. Anything that makes you feel again, that gives you momentum. Because in the end, youth isn't measured in years. It's measured in how alive you feel inside. And those who live with passion, they never truly grow old. 7. You let go of the past. You can see it in their face, the heaviness of a past they refuse to let go. Their eyes carry the weight of old regrets, their expression hardened by memories replayed too many times. It's as if they are living in a world that no longer exists, trapped in a cycle of what-ifs and should-haves. But here's the truth. The past isn't what ages you, your attachment to it does. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't let your mind be enslaved by what is already gone." Yet, so many people live as if their past has a grip on them, allowing old wounds to shape their every expression, every sigh, every hesitation. It wears them down, not just emotionally but physically, draining the light from their presence. You don't need a scientist to tell you this, just look around. The people who seem weighed down by life aren't necessarily the oldest, but they are the ones who have spent years carrying the unnecessary burden of past mistakes, betrayals, and regrets. Take David, a man who once had endless energy and a sharp mind. In his early years, he built a thriving business, but one bad partnership led to its downfall. Instead of moving forward, he clung to his failure, reliving every decision, every conversation, every moment where he believed he should have done something differently. Over time, that weight settled into his face. His jaw clenched with unresolved anger, his forehead lined with frustration, his shoulders slumped as if he were physically carrying his past on his back. No matter where he went, he wasn't really present. He was stuck in a time that no longer existed. What David never realized is that the past only holds power over you if you let it. The Stoics teach that suffering does not come from events themselves, but from our judgment of them. Epictetus reminds us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Life will throw challenges your way. People will betray you. You will make mistakes. But to continue reliving those moments is like willingly drinking poison every day and wondering why you feel sick. The solution isn't to ignore the past, but to change your relationship with it. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The pain of what has happened is often far less damaging than the suffering we create by holding on to it. The mind replays what it refuses to release, convincing us that if we think about it enough, we might finally change it. But the past is immovable. The only thing you can control is your perspective. People who look younger than their years, who move with ease and grace, have one thing in common: they don't let the past define them. They understand that what's done is done, that dwelling on it only robs them of the present. They practice the art of letting go, not because it's easy, but because they know the alternative is far worse. And here's the remarkable part. The body follows the mind. When you release old burdens, your body responds in kind. Tension leaves your shoulders, your expression softens, your energy becomes lighter. It's not magic, it's biology. A person who carries resentment for decades will physically bear the marks of that resentment. But someone who practices acceptance, who refuses to be shackled by what they cannot change, will naturally radiate a different energy, one that is free, unburdened, youthful. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to defy aging, now you know. It's not just about genetics or diet, but about mindset. The lines on your face are not just from years past, but from emotions held too tightly for too long. And the good news? You have the power to change it, not by erasing the past, but by releasing it. Ask yourself, what are you still holding on to? What moment, what mistake, what regret is keeping you locked in a time that no longer exists? Whatever it is, let it go. Because the past is nothing but a story you keep telling yourself. And the moment you decide to stop repeating it, you'll feel something incredible, lighter, freer, younger, not just in spirit, but in body. Because in the end, the people who carry the least baggage are the ones who move through life with the most ease. And that ease? That's the real secret to staying young. So, if people keep telling you that you look younger than your age, maybe it's not just good genes or a fancy moisturizer, it's you. The way you think, the way you move through life, the way you refuse to let stress, boredom, or negativity settle into your bones. And if no one's ever said it? Well, now you know exactly what to do to earn that compliment. Because youth isn't about the years you've lived, it's about how much life you put into them. So, what's your secret? Are you the type who laughs in the face of adversity, who stays curious, who surrounds yourself with energy that lifts you up instead of dragging you down? Or are you realizing it's time to reignite that spark? Either way, now you hold the key. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little anti-aging wisdom. And tell me in the comments, what's the craziest age mistake someone has made about you? Let's keep this conversation going. Stay curious, stay passionate, and most of all, stay ageless. See you in the next one.